Patricia F in Langhorne. Done work for her in the past. It's going to be mulch install. Probably going to end up doing the front and the back at separate times. So the back is going to be brown non-dyed mulch, and we'll kind of walk through it here. So again, this is only backyard. So starting over here, so this area, she actually said just don't even worry about it. You can maybe rake it out if you want a little bit, but you don't need to mulch this side area here. Well, we'll call it like here up, and then all this just light rake out and mulch. And she said just go thin with the mulch here, right here around the tree. Do the best you can with edging it, and then mulch around here. You can leave the hostas, leave all the ground cover, just kind of like a quick rake, light touch up. Over here, that's all stone. Over here you got mulch. I will say too, her big focus was edging. So we got to really, I'm gonna kind of price it like a little bit more, because she was a very big focus on the edging. She kept saying she likes it 4 to 5 inches deep and a 45-degree angle. So really get aggressive with the edging. I don't know if it makes sense to bring out the big $3,000 bed edger that no one uses. The brown easy bed edger might be something to consider for this one, because there's a lot of edging in the back. But anyway, whatever you do, if you're going to use a shovel, probably gonna have to get nice and deep with it. So anyway, going over here, edge it all out, mulch it. Under here, the maple, you got some. Over here, she doesn't want to cut the bed so far out. She's trying to get the grass to kind of grow back in. So you don't need a lot of mulch here, but I would cut the edge as close to the mulch bed as possible to try to allow for as much of the grass to kind of take over as you can. And then you got all up in here, rake all this out, and then mulch it. And then starting over here, so I'll go through. You're gonna have to really pay attention to detail. She's definitely into the plants, knows every name of every plant type of deal. So we want to make sure that we're just very attention to detail with what we're hitting out. Don't just go hack-a-shack for sure. This is a customer that if you're unsure if it's a weed or a plant, call it a plant and skip it. I'd rather do that than hit something out that is trying to grow. So all this little clover stuff you can bust out. No trimming or pruning back here. Again, edging is her big thing. Hasn't been edged in a couple years. Hasn't had mulch in about 3 years, she said. So needs a good amount of mulch, needs a good rake out, and a really good edging. As you can see, it's a good sized bed. So all this pachysandra you can leave. There might be a weed or two that'll sneak in, like here. You can see like a viney weed growing up. Here you can see a leafy thing growing up. But most of the pachysandra looks pretty good. All these ferns, leave it alone, don't touch it. All of these, and there's a ton of them over here, and we'll get into it, but all these guys, they're like a grape, forget the name of them. You're basically just going to give them a haircut. I'll talk more about it over here, it's better explaining it. All here, kind of rake it out, clean it up. I would blow off this carpet floor. So along the whole back of the fence line, there's actually landscape stone, so you don't really need to do anything back there. I would just take a blower and kind of blow them off real quick, but you don't need to throw any mulch back in that area. So once you start cleaning up, you'll see. But along the whole back, it's kind of like a drainage type of thing for landscape stone. Pile of sticks, she said you can leave it. They're gonna burn it in the fire over here. So all right, so moving over here, there's a ton of this stuff. And what she wants done with it, she wants to keep it, but she just wants to give it a haircut. She said if you trim it down, just take a string trimmer, and basically it shouldn't be too hard, but she said just give it a haircut, cut it down where not completely dead, but like cut all this growthy, grapey type of stuff out of here, and then rake it out. And she said it'll all come back later in the year, but if you do it at least now, it doesn't come back too aggressive. So and then you really have to just kind of keep an eye on like what's a weed, what isn't. Here's a plant, leave that. Those are some weeds. Going over here, just when you're coming in here with the string trimmer hitting all this stuff, just be careful what you're hitting. This is a plant, leave it alone. This is a plant, leave it alone. This is a weed, you can see, you can yank that out or do whatever. That's a weed, but right here is a plant. You can see it's the same as that other one. So be careful with that. All this stuff, again, just giving it a haircut. This is a weed, you can kind of yank it. All those plants stay, obviously. Again, nice deep edge here, just to reiterate. All the ground cover you can leave alone. And she also said, don't worry about throwing mulch in the ground cover. I know sometimes we do that. Same with the Pachysandra. You don't have to throw mulch like in there. You can obviously throw it in front and behind, but not in the actual Pachysandra. You can leave it alone. Got a plant here. All this ground cover stuff, just kind of string trim it. Got a plant here, obviously. All this is weedy stuff. Got a plant here, leave it alone. That is a plant. We did a picture thing on it. It is a plant. This is a plant, leave it. These are all plants, leave it. Pretty much all this is weedy, but you'll notice in here, this is a plant right here. And then all back here, I will say all this tall stuff right here, she said, you can just yank it all out. All this big stuff. I would say most of the tall stuff growing in the rocks that's weedy looking, you can just string trim it down. She said don't really worry about like the real small stuff in here, but just string trim the big stuff. Same thing over here, just kind of string trim the big stuff. We didn't really talk about back there, so ideally maybe check out with her, but on that part. This she just planted, be careful of that. It's like a little tree. Leave this alone, leave this alone. Plant here. Obviously his red leaf is a plant, but you got some other weeds growing around it. Edge it all out here. This is a plant right here. This is a plant. And all that is on the back is weeds. You can bust all that out. A little bit of bust out here. No mulch needed back here, she said. But do throw the mulch here. A couple weeds in there to clean up. So, and that's it for the back.